There's been this potent energy in the air. Have you been feeling it? For me, I've been feeling called to rest, which has been great, but my technology has been acting strange. Clarity regarding my relationships with myself and others has been coming in. Deep reflection and a heavy emphasis on truth. So you know me, well, maybe not so much, but when I get to feeling this feeling, I like to sit with it. And then I begin digging into my handy dandy wellness toolbox, which has many resources, medicines, practices that help me remain grounded while all of the happenings are happening, while all of the downloads be downloading, while truths are being revealed and plans are executed. You catch what I'm throwing or nah? Basically, when it feels like sugar honey iced tea hits the fan, I like to create a space to slow down, tune in, and understand not just how things should be handled, but why they're unfolding this way in the first place. So then I embark on this beautiful journey of interconnectedness because everything is truly connected. I believe it's the sociology student within me. I'm always fascinated by the relationships between people and culture, systems, behaviors, environment, symbols, and meaning, So finding the interconnectedness everywhere, starting within me, is kind of my jam. But with all of that being said, I've been placing my hand in my wellness toolbox a lot lately, and the tool I've been pulling out reminded me that Pluto is currently in microbraids, as my sister Asia would say, and microbraids meaning retrograde. Now, before I continue, I just want to say that I am not an astrologer. I'm just a woman who enjoys studying her chart, exploring how it's connected to my other medicines, and then moving accordingly from there. Disclaimer, this is the part where I begin talking about Pluto microbraiding in Aquarius and sharing some reflections. And yes, I do have to add this disclaimer because as quiet as it's kept, a lot of people be gangbanging on spirituality up here on Ogun and Eshu's internet and under my comments. So I just want to give them a little time to decide if they're going to leave, keep scrolling, or chill with a real one for about 5 to 10 minutes. Cool. Let's talk Pluto for a second. In astrology, Pluto is the planet of transformation, death and rebirth, power, truth, shadow work, and the things hidden beneath the surface. So Pluto has this way of revealing what can no longer be ignored. It doesn't do superficial at all. It exposes, and again, it transforms. And then we have retrogrades. And for me, retrogrades aren't always doom and gloom. I experience retrogrades as invitations to slow down, reflect, revisit, reassess, and become more aware of what is actually happening internally. So it's less about everything outside of us spiraling and more about what is being brought into our awareness to review, like what patterns need our intention and our attention. What truths have we been avoiding? What needs to be reworked before we move forward? Yeah. And then you add Aquarius into the mix. And Aquarius is connected to community, systems, innovation, liberation, individuality, like that collective consciousness, technology, the future. But, every sign has its shadow. So Aquarius can also represent disconnection, emotional detachment, intellectualizing feelings instead of actually feeling them. So when Pluto begins microbraiding in Aquarius, we're not just talking about personal transformation. We're talking about collective transformation and the restructuring of systems, the reevaluation of community, the questioning of purpose and identity and truth, and a huge exposure of what no longer feels aligned. So Pluto began its retrograde in Aquarius on May 6, 2026, and it'll remain retrograde until October 5th, 15th, 2026. And that's about 5 months of collective reflection and transformation. And not necessarily the kind that happens out loud. It's very much so underneath, beneath the surface. The kind that asks us to pay close attention. And I think that this energy has a way of making people feel like they're standing in between versions of themselves. Like your old life still technically fits, but your spirit knows something about it no longer aligns. So since this retrograde began, you might have been questioning things you once believed without hesitation, like feeling less interested in performing versions of yourself just to remain comfortable, for approval or belonging. And your voice may be changing too. So it's not just what you say, but how you say it, what you're willing to tolerate, what truths you're no longer feeling called to hide or soften, what conversations no longer resonate. You get what I'm saying? What spaces feel emotionally uplifting and nourishing, and which ones feel draining and performative. And because Aquarius rules community, this energy can also reshape your relationships, right? So some people may feel suddenly distant, Some connections may feel harder to maintain, and some communities may no longer reflect who you're becoming. And honestly, that can feel lonely. Loneliness is not a punishment. Sometimes it's that space where authenticity finally has an opportunity to evolve. Spiritually, this energy can feel like deconditioning. So we're questioning these inherited beliefs, right? We're reevaluating what truth actually means and realizing that some things that made sense intellectually never felt embodied. And because Pluto works through the shadow, old fears, emotional triggers, control patterns, and the subconscious survival techniques may begin surfacing for us to review. Not because we're failing, but because awareness can be the beginning of transformation. So I'm saying all of this to say that this energy can touch every part of our lives: relationships, career, purpose, creativity, rest, motivation, our bodies, and the way that we relate to ourselves underneath all of the noise. So you may be feeling called towards more meaningful work, more honest relationships, communities that are intentional, and more aligned ways of living. And at the same time, you don't got no time to be playing around with anything that requires you to abandon yourself in order to participate. Again, Pluto eventually exposes whatever is no longer sustainable. And I personally believe that some of the deepest questions that this energy is asking us are, can you become more of yourself without forgetting that you're a spiritual being having this superhuman experience? Can you tell the truth without abandoning compassion? Can you become aware of the internal power dynamics that still need transformation? What identity am I afraid to outgrow? What truths am I watering down in order to maintain comfort? Big one. What emotional patterns keep repeating in my life? What am I trying to control out of fear? What parts of myself have I abandoned? Does the work that I'm currently doing reflect who I am becoming? So I'm thinking, maybe this transformation isn't about becoming someone completely new, right? I'm more so feeling as though it's about clearing everything that was never truly me or you to begin with. So that's what I've been sitting with. That's what Pluto microbrading in Aquarius has been bringing up for me. Questions about truth, identity, purpose, relationships, the stories that we tell ourselves and the versions of ourselves we've outgrown. And maybe that's the invitation of this season, not to force clarity, but to pay attention, to notice, to really listen, and create enough space for the truth to meet us where we are. So Yeah. I'm curious, since Pluto has been retrograde on May 6th, what has been coming up for you? What truth keeps coming to the surface? And what feels like it's changing? What are you being asked to release or re-examine? Drop it in the comments if you feel called, and let's reflect together. And if you enjoyed these kinds of conversations where we explore astrology, shadow work, wellness, sociology, culture, spirit, and all the places where they intersect, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody that may need this for reflection right now. Because as I always say, everything is connected.